So continuing with 2.4 writing equations, with this problem, they are giving us 2 points. So we need to write an equation. Now we are going to do like what we did yesterday. We need to find the slope first. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So remember, this is x1, y1, x2, y2, or you could label these x2, y2, x1, y1. Now plug those numbers in to find your slope. So y2 is negative 8 minus 1 for y1. All over x2 is negative 3 minus x1 is 6. So negative 9 minus, or all over negative 9. This can be simplified. 2 negatives make a positive. 9 over 9 simplifies to 1. So here's my slope. I'm going to circle that because I'm going to use that. Now, remember, there are 2 ways that we can write our equations. We can use the point-slope form or the slope-intercept form. So point-slope form, I'm going to do both ways. Remember, you can choose which way you prefer. Okay. For the point-slope form, I'm going to use x1 and y1 here. Okay, and for the slope-intercept form, I'm going to use x2 and y2. That's just showing you that it doesn't matter which point we use to plug it in. As long as we use the correct steps, we will get to our answer. So we will get to the same problem, or the same answer. Y minus y1, y minus 1 equals my slope, which is 1, parenthesis, x minus x1, which is 6. On the right side, distribute. Y minus 1 equals 1 times x is x, 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. Then add 1 to both sides to get y all by itself. What we're doing, we are putting this in slope-intercept form. So that was using y equals x minus 5 to get our answer. That was using x1 and y1, the first point. Now, just to show you how both points will work, so I could have used x2 and y2 there. I'm going to use x2 and y2 over here. So my y is negative 8 equals my slope of 1 times x, which is negative 3, plus b. So remember, when we use the slope-intercept form, we are finding our y-intercept, our b, first. Then we use those. We use our b, our y-intercept, and our slope to write our new equation. So I've starred those. So I have y equals my slope 1 x plus b, so minus 5. Same exact answer. Okay, remember, you don't need to put that 1 there, but if you do, that's fine. Okay, parallel lines have the same slope. So parallel lines, same slope. So now if we need to write an equation of the line containing this point, negative 2, 1. So we want to write an equation that where this line goes through this point and is parallel to this line. So first, what is your original slope of this equation? Negative 3. Negative 3 is our slope. Parallel lines, same slope. So we are going to use negative 3 for our slope. Now, you have your slope, you have your point here. Plug those numbers in into whichever equation you think is the easiest. So I'm going to do both problems, and then you can double check it, okay? So here, x minus a negative 2, 2 negatives make a positive. So now I'm going to distribute. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Add 1 to both sides. So I get y equals negative 3x minus 5. Now the next one, here's my x and y. So y is 1 equals my slope of negative 3 times my x is negative 2 plus b. So 1 equals 6 plus 2, or I'm sorry, 6 plus b. Subtract 6 to get b all by itself. Now remember, this is your b. Here's your y-intercept. Write your new equation. Same exact answer, using two different ways. Alright, try the next one. Remember, you can pause or rewind this at any time. So, write an equation line containing this point, 4, -2, and is parallel to y equals 3x minus 1. So here's my slope, parallel. We're going to use the same slope. So y minus y1, -2, so two negatives make a positive there. M is 3, parentheses, x minus 4. Distribute. And then subtract 2 to get y all by itself. We're putting it in slope-intercept form. So now I'm going to do the slope-intercept form. So my y is -2 equals my slope of 3 times my x, which is 4, plus b. Multiply on the right side. 4 times 3 is 12. Then subtract 12 from both sides, because you want to get b all by itself, and we want to write this in slope-intercept form. I'm sorry, -12 minus 2 is -14. So I'm starring that, going back up, starring my slope. So I'm going to write my new equation. Y equals 3x minus 14. Okay, perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite, reciprocal. So now for this one, we are going to write an equation line containing this point and is perpendicular to this line. So my original slope is 1/4. Now we want it to be the opposite reciprocal of 1/4. So the opposite of positive would be a negative, and the reciprocal of 1/4, remember, reciprocal, just flip the numerator and the denominator, or the top number and the bottom number. So here's our slope, -4. This is the slope that we're going to use. So now you have your point up here, 3, -5. Plug them into whichever equation you feel most confident with. Y minus -5 here, so it'll be y plus 5. My slope is -4, parentheses, x minus x1, which is 3. I'm going to distribute. And then subtract 5 to get y all by itself. So now I'm going to do it slope-intercept form, so if you prefer that way, you can see how I do it that way. So my y is -5, my slope is -4, my x is 3, plus b. Remember, this is the one where we find our y-intercept, or our b, first. Add 12 to both sides. You get b equals 7. So here's my slope. Here's my y-intercept. So y equals -4x plus 7. And we're going to do one more problem for today. It's very similar to the last one. So write an equation line containing this point, -2, 1, and is perpendicular. So here's my slope, -3. Now the opposite reciprocal of -3, the opposite of negative is positive. The reciprocal of 3/1 is 1/3. So here's my slope that I'm going to use. There's my x1 and y1, or my x and y. So now it's just like those last problems. So y minus 1 equals 1/3 x minus x1. So minus a negative 2 becomes positive. Distribute. So 1/3 times x is 1/3 x. 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. Now I'm going to add 1. So y equals 1/3 x. Now, if you want, you could write your answer as a mixed number, so 1 and 2/3, or we could write it as a improper fraction, which is 5/3. So now, lastly, I'm going to do it the slope-intercept form. So my y is 1, my slope is 1/3, my x is negative 2 plus b. So multiply on the right side, so I get negative 2/3 plus b. Add 2/3 to both sides. So you have 1 and 2/3 equals b. I'm going to star that. Here's my slope. Write my new equation. Y equals 1/3 x plus 1 and 2/3. Same exact answer, just different ways of writing it. All right, that's all for today.